all love to travel, right?
Yeah.
That feeling of just getting away and seeing new places.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there's always that, that thought in the back of your mind, especially I think for women,
Right.
that are we really safe when we're traveling alone?
Mm-hmm.
There have been some cases that have really highlighted those concerns.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we're going to do a little deep dive today, talking about hotel safety, and specifically looking at the case of Christy,
Right.
who was killed in a DC hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of looking at what happened in that case,
Right.
and then more importantly, what can we all learn from that,
Exactly.
and what can we do to be safer in our travels.
For sure. The Christie case was really tragic. It, happened at the Ivy City Motel.
Right.
And it seems like there were just kind of a bunch of security lapses that that unfortunately led to her death.
Right.
There wasn't adequate security at the hotel itself. The guy that attacked her had a history of crime, of violence, and that he was actually apprehended with blood on his hands and his clothing. So it was clearly a very violent attack.
Yep.
So it's really a reminder.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's a reminder that that this is real, and we need to be aware of it, and we need to take steps to protect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what we really want to focus on today is, how can we all be more proactive
Exactly. Yeah.
about our safety and our security when we travel. So let's just jump right in. When we talk about hotels, what are some things that we should be looking for when we're booking a hotel? When we say, look for a hotel with good security, what does that really mean?
Yeah, I think it really does go beyond just kind of the marketing.
Right.
And the surface level of what a hotel might say they have in terms of security.
Right.
They might say, oh, we have 24/7 security.
Right.
But is that really, security personnel? Or is it just, somebody sitting at the front desk who might not really be paying attention?
Right. Yeah.
Are there security cameras?
Yep.
And are they functional?
Yeah.
Are they just kind of dummy cameras to scare people off?
Right.
How is the building access controlled?
Right.
Is it, is there keycard access for the elevators, for the stairwells, for even the different floors?
Right.
Those are all things that you really want to kind of dig a little deeper and find out about before you book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've heard some kind of mixed, advice and tips about, what floor should you book on? Because some people will say, oh, you want to be closer to the lobby.
Right.
So that there's more foot traffic, there's more people around. It's safer.
Right. Yeah.
And then other people will say, oh, no, you want to be on a higher floor because it's harder to get up there.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think both of those arguments have some validity.
Right.
If you're closer to the lobby, there's definitely going to be more people around, more witnesses potentially if something were to happen.
Right.
But if a hotel security is really lax, then it might not really matter what floor you're on.
Right.
Somebody who really wants to get to a certain room is gonna find a way.
Right.
I think the ideal is a hotel that has good security.
Right.
Throughout. Regardless of what floor you're on, you feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Is that, closer to the lobby might be a little bit safer just because there are more people around.
Yeah, for sure. And then, obviously communication is key.
Yeah.
We always hear about that, making sure you let somebody know where you are, what your itinerary is.
For sure.
Are there any kind of, tips or tricks that you would suggest in terms of maybe even specific apps or things like that to use for, just that communication piece of it?
Yeah, for sure. I think, beyond just texting somebody, there are apps that you can get that will, allow you to share your location
right
in real time.
Right.
With a trusted contact.
Right.
So that's really helpful. There's a lot of, different apps out there like Life 360 or Find My Friends that are really helpful for that. And then, I think also just establishing a check-in schedule.
Okay.
with somebody.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to check in with you every night at 9 p.m., or every morning at 8 a.m. or something like that. So if they don't hear from you,
Right.
then they know something might be wrong.
Right. Right. Okay, so that's great. So we've talked about choosing the hotel, thinking about where in the hotel we want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then letting people know, where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, like, once we're in the room,
Yeah.
what are some things that we can do to kind of increase our safety and security?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the first thing is to make sure that the door locks properly.
Right.
Check the deadbolt, make sure it's engaging.
Right.
Make sure there aren't any, big gaps under the door or anything like that.
Right.
And then, I think beyond that, there's some things that you can bring with you that can add an extra layer of security.
Okay.
So things like, a portable door lock.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is, it's basically just a small device that you can, put on your door, even if it has a deadbolt.
Right.
Just to add that extra layer of security.
Okay.
Especially if you're not sure, about the strength of the existing lock.
Right. Right.
And then there are also things like doorstop alarms.
Okay. What's a doorstop alarm?
Yeah, so a doorstop alarm is basically like a wedge-shaped device
Okay.
that you put under your door.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody tries to force the door open,
Mm.
it'll emit a loud siren.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, it's not foolproof,
Right.
but it can be a good deterrent.
Right.
And it can buy you some time to call for help.
Right. Right. That's really interesting. I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah, they're pretty inexpensive and easy to pack.
Okay, cool. So definitely adding that to my list now.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've talked about, all these kind of, different physical things, choosing the hotel, choosing the room, having these devices. But you also mentioned, being observant and trusting your instincts.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like practically speaking?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about paying attention to your surroundings.
Right.
If you see somebody, loitering around your floor, or if you feel like somebody's watching you,
Right.
Trust your gut.
Right.
Don't brush it off.
Right.
Don't be afraid to report anything suspicious to the hotel staff, to, even to the local authorities if you need to.
Right.
It's always better to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
It's not worth risking your safety.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, we get that feeling we're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to bother anybody.
Right.
Or, I'm sure it's nothing. But
Yeah.
it's like, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And maybe, even reporting it, you might be preventing something from happening to somebody else.
Exactly.
So, great. Well, this has been a great discussion. Just to kind of recap for everybody what we've talked about, choosing a hotel with good security, like controlled access, and 24/7 staffing at the front desk. Being strategic about where you are in the hotel.
Right.
Thinking about maybe being closer to the lobby if that's possible. Letting people know where you are, having a communication plan,
Right.
and a schedule for checking in. And then these in-room devices, the portable door locks and the doorstop alarms, which I'm definitely going to be looking into.
Yeah, they're good to have.
Yeah. And then just overall, being observant and aware.
Right.
And trusting your gut.
Exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really, really helpful. And yeah, any final thoughts?
I think, ultimately it's all about empowering yourself with knowledge.
Right.
And taking those extra steps to stay safe.
Yeah. Great. And on that note, we want to hear from you guys. What are some things that you do, to stay safe when you're traveling?
Yeah.
Any tips or tricks that you've picked up along the way? Let us know on social media. Let's all share and learn from each other.
For sure.
And yeah, let's all just try to stay safe out there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks again for listening.